I got a new toy today.
Oh, that's cool.
I know. I dig it.
Is that a Tonka toy?
This is maybe. It costs almost as much as one. If my wife's watching, I bought it. So normally Ron and John would be in here. Today it is not Ron and John. All right. So it's going to be a better show. I had to pull a Ron though and start off with a gun in my hand. Ron's aren't usually as cool though because he doesn't start off with his guns. This one's mine. I just bought this and I'm pretty excited about it.
That's beauty.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be a lot of fun. They beat you up pretty good, but these are nice shotguns.
That's your new conceal and carry.
This is my new conceal carry. So if you see me walking with a limp, you know that, yeah, I couldn't pass it up. 590A1 with all the Magpul furniture on it already. We got one in last week while I was gone in class and showed up yesterday, saw it, said I gotta have it and bought it today. So I just wanted to show off my new toy. That way my wife could see it now before I get home. And
that's safe. Make sure it's not loaded when you bring it home.
Yeah, exactly, right? So Miss Sam, can you take that from me, please? So for those of you that are just tuning in, I'm Phil. I do work here at the range. You don't normally see me on this thing. This is Rob. Rob does our medical classes. I'll let him talk in a minute, but I'm going to talk for a little while. So as I said, John and Ron are both out of town. We were going to scrub the show, but since they kind of screwed up the show last week with me not here, then I decided that I just go ahead and run the show without them. So it's going to be a little bit different format today. Basically, we're going to talk a little bit about some training that I did the last couple of weeks. For those of you that show up here at the range, I know they just come in to see me.
Of course. So
you came in the last 2 weeks. I have not been here. I've been in some different training classes. So I'm going to talk about those classes a little bit. I do have to, since I normally run the show from the background, I have to run it from over here today. So please pardon my turning my back to you from time to time. So real quick, I just want to touch on a couple of things that I did the last 2 weeks. So 2 weeks ago, I took a USCCA instructor course just to get another certification, 2-day course. Pretty basic stuff, but still a lot of fun. It never hurts to learn more, get different views on ways to teach people things.
Absolutely.
And see different curriculums and stuff. And it's a point that I try to push to all my students, and I'm sure you do to yours.
Absolutely.
That the learning process never stops.
Ever.
Right?
That's how you keep being more proficient.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Actually from the class I was in last week, the instructor had a saying that I'm going to screw this up, that amateurs practice till they can't get it. Amateurs practice till they get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong.
Yep.
And I thought that's very true. You know, it's just a true statement that you never stop learning. You always got to. I mean, you've been doing medical stuff for a long time. You teach people this stuff all the time. You still have to do continuing education.
Something's always added. There's a new facet to it. It's just like we do in the military.
Yeah.
We constantly are out there training.
He is an Army guy. So.
Yeah.
Marines are better, but that's okay. We'll let it go for today. So last week, I did get to have a lot of fun. Last week, I was in a tactical instructor's course for rifle, pistol, and shotgun. Got to have a lot of fun. Got to do some medical stuff, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. But mostly, it was a lot of shooting and a lot of instruction. You know, again, it was an instructor level course, so it was designed to help you help people. Doing different drills and movements and stuff and all that good stuff. But I also got to shoot in a gas mask, which I haven't done in forever. It was not overly exciting the first time that I did it. I had to put on this thing. So here's a couple pictures of me from that week. The one on the left was right before Shotgun Day started. That was a rough day. We shot 250, 300 rounds or so of shotgun. And then that picture on the right is in a gas mask when it's 89 degrees outside and 800% humidity. Thankfully, I didn't have to shoot in it very long. We had a couple of stations set up and we put it on, shoot with a pistol, move a station or two, put it on, shoot with a rifle. I haven't done that. I mean, I've been out of the Marine Corps for 16 years, and I haven't put one on since then, but it was good training. It was a lot of fun.
You try doing that with your whole JLIS suit on and then shoot.
No. Thankfully, all I had to do was put a mask on. I didn't have to worry about any of the other stuff. Just a mask. Just to basically practice the limited visibility. With a handgun, simple. With a rifle, and I totally admit I was a soup sandwich when I first got started. I was messing stuff up left and right. Instructor came over, gave me some pointers on transitioning from right side to left side, all that good stuff, and ended up working out pretty good.
So even instructors get nervous when you don't know what you're doing at first. That's why you keep doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have to practice, and this class was mostly law enforcement. Out of the 25, 26 people that were in it, there was 3 or 4 of us that were not law enforcement. Everybody's a trainer, and people still screwed stuff up. I mean, I certainly was not perfect through the whole course. I messed stuff up and got corrected on things, and that's part of that learning process.
Absolutely.
And being able to say, hey, I'm not real sure, or I'm not comfortable doing this. Can you help me out? And it was a good time. I do have a couple short little videos that I'm going to show too. One was from our night fire, which is, I think, the first one I've got. Yeah, the first one is from our night fire. In this particular one, we had lights and sirens going just to add some confusion and stress. We're doing bounding drills where we had to communicate with a partner and work from barrier to barrier. And it was a lot of fun. So this is a short little video clip. I'll play that for you real quick. One second. All right, so that was a ton of fun. I love doing night fire stuff. I really do. Shooting in the dark, especially with lights and sirens, which me as a non-law enforcement guy, I certainly don't get to do too often outside of training classes like that. And it is interesting, as much as I have shot in the dark before, to add that strobe element, which already make me kind of crazy.
Right.
I'm not a big fan of that. But then just the loud noises and the different colors and stuff, and having to identify targets, and
it attacks all your senses. So you gotta
It's amazing how we practiced it without lights and sirens, and we all got it down pretty good. And as soon as you add that, and probably more so for me and the other civilian guys, it definitely felt strange when they turn those on and we start moving and I'm trying to communicate with somebody. It definitely adds another level to it. So then the next video I'm going to show is just from our very last day. We had some drills set up that we had to run through, and we did one with a rifle called the 1 to 5 drill. We have 3 targets set up in front of us. We're shooting at 7 yards, so real close. 1 shot on the first target, 2 shots on the second target, 3 shots on the third target. Then we go back to the second target and we shoot 4, and then back to the first target and shoot 5. Little story. The guy who had the top time when I stepped up to the station, and I was in the last group to go to this station, he had like a 4.4 second time, okay? Very respectable time. And I had told him that I'd beat him. You know, I wasn't sure that I was going to, but of course I'm going to say that I'm sure that I'm going to. So I told him I was going to beat him. My first run, I did not. I came up with like a 4.5. The second time I beat him with like a 4.3, and then I got to run it the third time and got it with a 4.2. Oh. Then my instructor, I'm not going to name any names because he's a local dude and he's going to come in here sometime soon, but he gave him another chance. Said, hey, this little civilian dude just beat you, and this is a SWAT DEA guy. He knows what he's doing. He said, I'll give you another chance to run it. I'm like, whoa, that's not how this works. Right?
Politics.
Yeah, that's not how this works. They gave him another chance and he beat me. Well, all's fair and fair. They did give me another chance and I screwed it up and I didn't beat his time. I actually dropped a shot. And in this case, at the silhouettes you'll see me shooting at, there's a smaller silhouette inside the silhouette. And that's what our bullseye was. And if you hit the line or outside the line, your time was just nothing. You failed. And I was trying to move too fast, and I screwed it up. But so I'm going to show that little clip here, and it was fun, even though I didn't win. And the guy, I did give the guy a bunch of trouble about it, because when they announced the winners, I said, well, his name has to have an asterisk by it, because it wasn't a legit win. He got a redo. All right. Shooter ready. Better hope that's... So, short little clip, but it was fun. Obviously, being a student in the class, I didn't get much in the way of photos or videos or anything. I wish I could have got a lot more. If I would have thought about it, I would have thrown a GoPro on my kit, either on my hat or on a gun or something, and brought a little bit more stuff back. But there was so much stuff going on in that class that I probably would have forgot it half the time, or not mess with it half the time. So,
well, it sounds to me like you taught that guy a lesson anyway.
I did.
Not sit on your laurels and...
Yeah. Of course I did. So yeah, I mean, that's what I've been up to the last couple of weeks. So for those of you that have come in here and been looking for me, I haven't been here. That's where I've been. I've been out training. And if you've ever taken a class from me, you've heard me say it 1,000 times that the learning process never stops. You never stop training. It doesn't even hurt to take a class over again. And we do it here at the range, and I know you do this too.
Refresher training is important.
If you take a class, if you take my basic pistol class, and 6 months from now you wanna take defensive 1, but you're not 100% sure if you've practiced enough, and you want to take basic again, it doesn't cost you anything. You come back and do it again. We offer that for classes that we teach here. If we have outside instructors, obviously we can't do that. But Rob does the same type of thing. He teaches our medical classes, and he makes that same standing offer for his classes, that if you take tactical triage and 6 months from now, assuming he's still teaching a class here and you want to take it, you come and take it. Sign up for it.
Right.
Let us know you're coming, all right? And you can come retake that class. If you got your next door neighbor that you want to take the class and you want to take it with them, you come out and do it.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to slow down on my blabbering for a little bit. So I briefly introduced Rob at the beginning. I'll let Rob kind of give his background and what he does, what he's done, and let him kind of run the show here for a little bit.
Thanks, Phil. Appreciate it. So my name is Rob Morton. I own Tactical Care Concepts. Been around since 2008. I'm actually still in. I know you can't tell with this beard, but I'm still a reservist. I shave this off once a month. I take the medical training that I've learned and that I teach actually in the Army, and I've civilianized it. I put it into a course that anybody, I don't care if you're 11 years old or 82, you guys can actually come in and learn how to. This isn't first aid, it's trauma response. You'll learn some first aid stuff in it, but mainly we're focusing on those life-threatening wounds, and then your mental preparedness, your physical preparedness, and then your skills. And so you go through this class pretty much to kind of get yourself in a good place where if you have to respond, you're going to be able to do it with muscle memory, or at least have a good sense of confidence that you're going to accomplish what you started out to do. And just like in the military, we teach everything at a 6th grade level education.
Hey, what are you saying?
With Marine Corps, if you come in, we actually give you the crayons to write down the answers when I give you the test questions.
Funny guy.
So, but basically what we do is, it's a perfect marriage between the range and my company, because you guys carry guns. Anyone who carries a gun should learn how to plug a hole. If not you, then somebody standing next to you, or somebody who might have gone down in an incident. Recently, we just taught a teacher class where we sponsored teachers throughout the area to come in and learn over a 4-hour period how to treat trauma wounds, gunshot wounds, blast wounds, stab wounds for children in their classes. We did that at no expense to them, because we want them to take that back and be able to save our kids in case something happens.
We got a lot of good feeback on that too. My sister is a teacher in the area, and she came and took the class. I also had my twin boys as crisis actors in the class, and she didn't know that. And so it was interesting. None of the students knew that we were going to have those actors, right? And they were going to have to work on somebody.
Yep.
So when we surprised them with that, she was extra surprised when she walked in classroom number 2 and saw little kids bleeding, and then they were her nephews, right? And she looked at me. She said, "That is not fair."
Oh, they're awesome too.
And that's the reality of it, though.
It is, absolutely. By the way, that was the first teacher trauma class in the country.
Really?
We were the only ones who did it. And I'm sure there's going to be others out there.
Oh, yeah.
But to have that claim that Tactical Care and the Range put on the first no charge teacher trauma response class, that's pretty awesome. But basically what we teach is headed to assessments. We talk about tactical triage. Before you even come up on the scene, what are you looking at? What can you tell by what you're seeing? What type of wounds you're going to be treating, which mentally and physically prepares you to grab the right thing, or at least initiate it the right way. It's a very dynamic class. Some of it is PowerPoint, but we don't kill you with death by PowerPoint. We do a lot of hands-on. In fact, that's why this type of teaching, the platform that I created, is extremely effective. And it's been tried on probably close to 15 to 16,000 deploying soldiers, sailors, and airmen. A lot of the stuff that I bring to the class is brand new. I just came off active duty last November, where we were training up forces to go over, and that was combined. So we're Air Force, Navy. All these techniques are tried and tested and proven to be very, very, very effective. Some of the things that we talk about is doing the head-to-toe assessment, and then the main thing that we teach is controlled bleeding. And controlled bleeding can be done a couple different ways. You use escalation of care like you use escalation of force. Only use what you have to use to get the job done, but in certain cases, when it's extreme, you go straight to the most effective way, and that happens to be the tourniquet. We're going to take a few minutes here just to go over some of the tools of the trade as you work. You may be putting into your tactical bags, by the way. The Range has a really nice tack bag. It's a kit that we call it individual first aid kit, or an IFAC in the military. I'm sure you'll come up with some fancy name.
Yeah, we'll come up with
the
something.
rack, who knows, I don't know. But they're really nice bags, right? They're really nice bags. You can put them in your shooter bag. You can take them and hook them to your belt. If you've got a vest, you can put them on your vest. And again, we recommend that you have some type of trauma kit, not a first aid kit. So everything we're going to be talking about is strictly for trauma. We'll start off by...
Not that you shouldn't have a first aid kit,
right,
but that they shouldn't be the same thing.
Hey, Phil,
right?
while you guys are doing that, are you working the guys event Monday? Somebody asked.
I am pretty sure I will be, yes. I'm not positive, but...
Are you doing video probably?
More than likely, yeah. Oh yeah, I probably will be, because it's the Russian night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Darren and I have decided to do rematching, and he offered to do it on
Oh!
You can watch me lose.
So Darren is a gentleman who has the asterisk by his name. Yeah, let's do it, man. Come on out. I'm down.
There we go.
I appreciate you watching.
I'll make sure that gets set up. I think that's my job as coordinator.
Yes.
Ask Darren if he knows how to do tactical trauma response.
Ooh,
Yeah.
you guys can shoot dummies, and you have to fix your dummies.
There you go.
And win.
Not only do you have to shoot, you have to save.
Exactly.
You got to save the guy.
This could be a thing.
Yes, it could. Could be like a rodeo. You got to lasso that patient with a tourniquet and zip tie. After shooting with your heart beating like this.
Come on out, Darren. We'll do it.
Yeah, you can do it in a reverse. So we're going to start off with a couple things. Everyone wants to know what a tourniquet looks like. You hear about it all the time. Used to be the last thing you go for. Now it's the first thing you go for. And it's a very, very simple algorithm. But with the tourniquet, all you have to remember, if it's on a limb, an arm, or a leg, and it's bright red spurting blood, don't waste your time with anything else. If you're in a tight situation, you need to put your tourniquet on, okay? Multiple types of tourniquets out there in the military. For the Army anyway, our mainstay is the CAT tourniquet, Combat Application Tourniquet. Looks like this. It's got a windlass, it has a Velcro strap, and it's got a buckle. There is some out there called a soft T, which is similar to this, but it's got a ratchet. You'll see some called a rat, which is actually tubes that you pull. It's elasticized, and you keep wrapping around the wound area, pulling it tight until you occlude that circulation. That's the main intent for a tourniquet, is to stop the bleeding, which means you got to pull it pretty darn tight to pinch off that artery and that vein. So
I'll tell you, when in that class that I was in last week, we did some training, some light medical stuff, and we got to train with tourniquets and putting them on, where to put them, and all that sort of thing. But then we also got to shoot with them on, which was interesting for me because I've never done it before. As part of a class, I had never put one on myself, then had to draw a pistol and engage. Or in the middle of the engagement, they would call out, check for injuries.
Right.
And then we'd have to survey ourselves, figure out where it is. They'd say, all right, left arm or right leg or whatever. We put a tourniquet on, but then we have to get back in the fight, right? And it was amazing how, quite honestly, I didn't think I'd be able to do it at all. And it was interesting to figure that out. Like, oh yeah, I can still use my arm for a little bit.
Right.
And then pretty quickly, within 45 seconds, maybe a minute, my arm was just like done. It was
Right.
dead. Now I could still be in the fight if I had to be, with strong hand only. And the same thing for the leg. It was not easy to walk around with that tourniquet on my leg.
Well, then you have to put into effect the reason why you put the tourniquet on is because you have blood loss.
Yeah.
So that's going to take you down even quicker.
Oh yeah, especially if you don't get it on fast. If you lose a pint of blood in 45 seconds or something, out of a pretty good wound, that's a lot of blood.
That's why this is so important
Yeah.
too. That blood loss is what takes you down quick. So the other thing is escalation of care. So this would be your end state or your first thing, and it's kind of funny how you can work it. That's a decision we talk about in the class. Then we have basic packing, gauze, bandages. These are like the first level of care after you do your digital pressure. We're going to show you how to pack a wound here in a minute, which is kind of cool. There's a lot of things out on the market, but here's the thing. Anything that you can stick into a wound at this point to stop that bleeding, I don't care if it's a dirty sock. Because nowadays with all the antibiotics the doc's got,
if you just let them bleed out,
you're dead, right?
The infection would be secondary, right?
Exactly.
So,
That's exactly
if
right.
you can take your t-shirt off and rip it up and stuff it into a wound, if you don't have packing material or you've run out of packing material, you can, whatever will absorb blood,
Exactly.
you can use, right?
Well, here's the thing. So some of you guys out there may have heard tampons. We got to put them in our bags, Don't laugh. They actually work to a point.
Yeah.
They're not effective past the point of how much they absorb in that wound. So if you stick a tampon in a wound and it automatically absorbs that blood, that's all it's going to absorb, and it's basically useless, and that's been proven as a fact. So the old myth or the old tale of, well, they use tampons in the bullet holes, no, don't do it. Other things you can use, gauze like this. You can buy these things online. When you do buy things online, make sure you're getting them from a reputable dealer. If you buy stuff that is on eBay or off Craigslist, I'm going to tell you don't do it. You're talking about something that's going to save a life. You got to stick it in your body, and there's fake tourniquets out there.
Lots of them.
For $10, $15 a piece. Or in the military, what we do is every year we go through our arsenal of supplies. I tell my medics, hey, go through your combat medic bags and your CLS bags, combat lifesaver bags, pull out all your expendable stuff. We put it into this big, huge crate and vat. We use it for training only, because I wouldn't want to risk a tourniquet that's been in hot, cold, wet, hot, cold, to actually, if you have to pull it tight on somebody, that it's going to save that life. I just don't do it. Perfect for training. That being said, born on dates, like this one says 2014. Here's one that says 2009. I would use this 2009 tourniquet over this 2014 tourniquet only because I know that this one has been stored in a cool, dry place since 2009. So it's not been affected by environment or weather. So just be careful of that.
Now, if our building blew up right now and you had to put this on me,
Yes.
it'd still work,
I
even
would.
though it's me.
Absolutely.
All right,
Well,
even though it's me, maybe.
but maybe if it's Ron or John, I would.
Yeah. So yes, it could be used in a pinch, just like an improvised tourniquet.
Yes,
but if you're gonna put money into something to save your life, spend a few bucks. Don't cheap out. Don't buy something on Amazon that's $8 versus a real one at $25 or $30, whatever they run.
And I'm not saying Amazon or places like that don't sell the legit stuff. You just got to check it out.
Yeah, you got to be
wary,
careful.
right? That's
if you buy something like this on Amazon and it says it comes from North American Rescue, okay,
right,
then you're probably fine. If it comes from Bob's Medical Supplies,
made in China,
yeah,
maybe that may be made in China.
It might be, yeah.
North American Rescue is putting their stamp on it.
Yeah.
So there's reputable companies like Medic Up and Unconventional Medic, North American Rescue, Skedco. Those are some good companies out there. You can look those up on the internet. And look at the Better Business Bureau too, so check them out. The other really good bandage that we use in the class, and I recommend, is called the Israeli bandage or EMS bandage. This is a really good universal bandage that you can use in an escalation of care style, meaning you can start it off as a regular bandage, if you can get it open. I always recommend that you pre-prep these as well too. Get them out of their packages as much as possible. I keep them in this, but you don't necessarily need that.
Unless you need directions.
Well, and here's the thing. They made this particular bandage for the Marine Corps because they got these little cards and...
He's got jokes.
It's
He's got
a
all
joke.
the jokes.
It's a step-by-step process. So if you can't remember how to put the bandage on, they remind you how to do it. Anyway, so this is the Israeli bandage, and it stretches. That's what's really cool about it. So you put it on like a regular bandage. If that doesn't cut it, after you wrap it around a couple times, you put it through the windlass and then you back it over. That piece of plastic puts pressure on top of the wound. Now you've made a pressure bandage out of it.
And why do you want pressure?
Because pressure is going to start to occlude that blood flow and start slowing it down so the body can have its natural process of clotting.
So if you're going to put a bandage on somebody, you don't necessarily want to just lay something on there and loosely wrap it. You want some pressure.
You want to snug some pressure on there. You also don't want to cover it up too much, because if this isn't effective and it starts to bleed through, I'm going to throw a tourniquet on them. That's an escalation of care point. Okay? So this is a pretty cool investment. This would be a good investment to get these Israeli bandages. They run about $8 to $9, depending on the size that you get. So that's really inexpensive to save somebody's life. They have things out there called wound wrap, wound seal kits like this. Basically, it's just a giant sticky piece of plastic that you just slap on a wound, and all you're doing is covering a hole. So it's not going to go inside the wound. That's like for a second chest wound. If you got shot in the chest, you want to cover it.
We're not putting that on me right now.
No, pull the hair off.
No, yeah, don't do that.
We talk about chest seals, and this is a seals again for a sucking chest wound. You get that if you get hit in the upper torso.
You're not going to pack that.
No,
Yeah.
no. You got a cavity there, so all you can do is you just got to patch the front. If you got a front hole, you need to look for the exit hole. So there's tools that we teach you how to use in class, and you actually get hands-on. You don't.
So what if you don't have something like that? I mean, something that. What else can you use?
So during World War II, they would actually use their cigarette wrapper packs. They would actually take tape and they would put it over the hole and they would tape 3 sides. Now they say 4 sides. So it goes back and forth, and this is what we discuss this in the class. These techniques are always changing because of information we're getting from the battlefield. So those actual trauma wounds, then we incorporate that into the class. So we'll talk about that too. Again, if you got a front wound, you have to look for the exit wound too, right? Airways, we talk about airways. We talk about nasopharyngeal airways that you put in. We talk about the needle decompression for tension pneumothorax, but we don't actually do that in class because that's considered invasive.
Yeah, you're not going to stick a needle in somebody's chest.
Not here anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe the nose trumpet in the advanced
I did get
class.
to do that.
Yes.
I got to do that in the class last week. Our medic asked for volunteers, and he had one of those in his hand, right? So everybody was like, nope. Just sat on their hands. I'm like, all right, I don't care, I'll do it. So I got up and walked up to the front of the class. And I sat down in the chair up there. I thought he was going to put one in me. He's like, no, you're going to put it in me. I'm like, oh, I thought you were going to put it in my nose. He's like, no, that's too easy, and you learn how to do it, right?
Yep.
He asked me if I'd ever done it on somebody before. I said no. He said, all right, let's do it. And so it was pretty cool. I've put it in dummies before, but I've never put it in a person. And he took it pretty well. I'm sure he's done it a lot, but
if you go to my tactical care, you look on my Facebook page, I got a video of me taking it. But you have to think about this too. In the military, we train truck drivers, computer geeks, supply sergeants, cooks. Not that there's anything wrong with those guys at all, but they're also soldiers. Like a Marine is always a Marine no matter what their duty is. But every single one of them have to learn, every year they have to go through the training of sticking a needle and doing a nasopharyngeal airway. So it can be done. And anyone can learn how to do it. It might be uncomfortable, but it's something that's going to help you learn how to save somebody's life. And so it just adds to your muscle memory, something that you're going to be doing.
Darren, your new arch nemesis,
Uh-oh.
wants to see you demonstrate the nasal airway.
yeah, not so much. We don't have
Jason Brown
we don't have any lube in
wants
here.
a private lesson on those neck tourniquets he used to do in the Marine Corps.
Yeah. We'll do one on Jason.
And
So
I told him he had to set up a private lesson just with you, and that we would take care
yeah.
of
So
it.
Jason, if you want to learn how to put a tourniquet on your neck, please, people, don't put a tourniquet on your neck. It's just for people named Jason, former jarhead. You want to do it? Come on up. I'll show you how.
We also offered up a chest wax on camera.
That's not going to be fun.
It's like picking on Phil, Jake.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we have these scissors. If
I'm
there's
cool
anything
with it.
else,
Yeah, I'm cool with it. I'm good with it. So, and Darren, I'm looking at you, bud.
Are you a
Let's do this.
superhero now? You have an arch nemesis.
I do. If it's got to be one, I'm glad it's Darren though, so I can take him.
there you go. So let's look at the Ranges kit real quick. I like these bags a lot. The bag doesn't have to be anything fancy, guys. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it can be, and it just depends on what you're going to do with it. If
Right.
it's going to go in a car, if it's going to go in a range bag. I've got a little itty bitty trauma pack that I keep in my backpack for mountain biking.
Well, you said that you carry a tourniquet with you, or if you got your gun on you, you have a tourniquet.
Yeah.
I think that's smart.
Yeah.
The tourniquet does not take up that much space. That being said, we can also tell you anything you're wearing right now, or anybody in this room, I can actually show you, and we talked about in the class, hands-on, how to improvise. You're wearing something I can save your life with.
It was interesting. After the first class you taught here, I've got a bunch of your stuff in my office, right? And I had taken like the bag of all your clothing that you use for improvised stuff, and there was a bra hanging out of it.
Big bra.
So John walks in my office and he's talking to me. He's like, da, 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 da. What? Never mind. And just walked out.
Yep.
So, but yeah, you get to learn cool stuff like
I
that.
taught a female class, and I said, you guys, if there's ever any trauma going down, I want females around me. Not for that reason,
Yeah.
but you guys have the best supply of life-saving.
elastic
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the bras and the waistbands, your underwear, and everything else like that. So those are really good things to know, though. We were talking about the kids. You know, those kids in the classroom, those teachers are pulling them back in, they're barricading in place like they're taught. Now what? Because you're not going to have a trauma kit in your room. Not yet.
Yeah.
We're working on that.
Hopefully yeah.
But those kids are wearing belts, they're wearing tube socks, they're wearing everything that you can use to help pack their wounds. So we talk about that in the class too. So this is a good basic kit. Do you need the gloves? It's nice to have, but to be honest with you, if you forget to put your gloves on, you know, it is what it is. That's just where I'm at. If you're going to commit to helping somebody, you're not going to worry if you have gloves or not.
You know,
But
one of the
always
nice
have them.
things about kits like these is that there's still plenty of room left in this kit.
Pack what you want.
Yeah, you buy this as a starter.
Yes.
And then you can just add stuff. You decide, all right, I want an Israeli bandage, or I want quick clot or something
Yes.
like that. You can add it to it, take stuff out, start building up your own kits.
So for a trauma kit, basically a tourniquet, primary. This is the SWAT. So this is basically an elastic bandage.
Big, huge rubber band. yeah.
Right. It's like the TheraBand you use in therapy. I'm a therapist too, so we use TheraBand. So the trauma tourniquet, a packing gauze that you pack inside the wound is something that you really have to have in your kit. Tape, make sure it's sticky tape that's going to stick on blood. That's why the surgical tape is made, it has a different adhesive to it. Some type of a compression bandage, whether it's an ACE bandage or the Curlex, that's going to wrap around on itself that you can pull tight and put some type of a compression into the wound.
You know, that's one of the things I like about those SWAT tees, because they are just a big rubber band. You can use it as a tourniquet.
Yes.
They are a little bit tough to put on, especially an arm by yourself. But you can still use it as a pressure bandage also.
Absolutely.
It's just, you don't have to pull it as tight, but you can use it to hold pressure. You can twist it and add a little knot to it to add more direct pressure.
Yep.
So they're versatile.
They are very versatile. So in lieu of a chest seal, petroleum gauze works well. But again, we talked about using the bandages or the package. Like during World War II, they'd use the cigarette packs.
Yeah, so if I was going to use this is what I would use, really.
Yeah.
Unless it needed to be bigger and I would try to open it up or put two down or whatever. But obviously the chest seals are much better. They've got a lot more adhesive on it that will stick well to something that's bloody or hairy or whatever, more so than just tape and that.
Right.
The chest seals are expensive. They're not super cheap, but
Again, you're investing
putting
in
money in something
Right.
that has the potential to save
Right,
your
you're
life.
going to use it once. It's just a one-time use, but that one-time use, I mean,
It's
priceless.
pretty important,
It's
yeah.
a priceless
It's
life,
pretty important.
right? Yeah. So here's a really good example. This is what we use in the military. This is quick clot combat gauze. If you haven't heard about hemostatic agents or the bleed control, chemically enhanced gauze and tape and stuff that we have out there. There's a couple different types. Army, we use, I'm not sure about the Marines.
QuikClot still.
QuikClot, okay. So QuikClot, sometimes they use the
Celox,
which is more of a expansion, where this is a chemical induced that actually stops the bleeding. But there's a pack of gauze like this inside here, impregnated. Here's a 4x4 outer gauze. These are mainly for superficial wounds, to be honest with you, like maybe a little skin avulsion, or if you're running through the woods or something, you fall and you scrape your arm up and it's bleeding. These are topicals, right? So nothing that you want to put inside the body is not going to have that much control over it. You need to get something like this. Whether
this has got yards of stuff in
Yes.
it. This is simply a 4x4 topical pad.
And anything you put into somebody's body, here's the thing too, you have to understand, you don't know how they're going to react to it. You don't know if they're going to become allergic to it. So there's a certain kind of, I got to think this one through before you do it. But if that's all you have, and that's how you're going to save their life, guess what? You need to give them that 50-50 chance. So you need to stick it in there. The military actually has a blue line through it. So when you go into x-ray, it's all saturated
Yeah, a lot
blood.
of the civilian ones now do too.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but they're more and more so have that x-ray line.
That's so they can debride it out.
Yeah.
But that's the pack. I mean, there's a few other things in here. It's what you want to make it, but basically you need gauze, packing gauze, you need an outer compression gauze, you need a tourniquet of some type, and then you need scissors and tape. So those are the things. The scissors, these are little small shears. I like these EMT shears, and they're not that expensive. So I know these are probably $6, $7. Retail, you may go to the store and get the larger ones for $12. It's worth the investment. Those things will cut through a penny.
Yeah.
So it'll cut through boots, clothing, shoes, whatever you have. So that's their kit. It's a good kit. And they do sell it here at the range. So the other thing I want to show you how to do is pack a wound.
This is fun. This is something you get to do in the class if you come out to the class.
I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me turn it this way. So, entrance wound, exit wounds. I need that gauze. There it is. So that large hole is going to be an exit wound. Your entrance wound is usually going to be smaller, unless it's like a shotgun or something like that. Gloves.
Well, behind you.
Cool. Not that I need gloves.
But it's a lot cleaner.
All right, so in the class we talk about the wounds, we talk about the different type of wounds. You get visuals, and it's not for the faint of heart. We get very, very, very graphic. I think you need to see the wound, you need to sense the wound, you need to understand how you're going to stop that bleeding, and you can't be shy about it. It's going to hurt. That patient's going to be screaming, hopefully, because that means that they're alive. So, I don't want to hurt them. Yeah, you do. You actually do. So I actually teach a down trauma class for motorcycle riders too, and I had this model, and we bloodied her up and had her on the ground, and she had a broken arm, she had a piece of rebar through the leg and everything. I jumped off the motorcycle, grabbed my kid, it was like a rodeo. I had this guy talking us through it, and she's screaming like this, and I put the tourniquet on, I zip it, and I said, hey, are you okay? Focus on me. What's your name? What's your name? She goes, oh my God, my leg is falling off, and you're trying to pick me up. I said, no, I'm just trying to save your life. It's pretty funny. So the screaming is a good thing. You want to wrap this around your fingers, like this, to initiate it, and understand that wound, it's going to go down, it cavitates, which means
it's not
it
just going to
expands.
be a plug.
So you need to start packing this wound, and as you pack that wound, you need to push down into that hole and feel around all the crevices and all the little nooks in there, and you want to pack that down. What you're trying to find basically is that artery, that main artery that's squirting blood. And you want to hold pressure to it for a few minutes. Now this is not impregnated, this is just a regular gauze. But what you're doing with this gauze is once you get it in there, it's going to start to help that clot, okay? And you're going to pack it. You see how much I'm using? Those bullet holes can go pretty darn deep.
And it's amazing in the class how many people think when they start packing a wound, because you get to do this in class, when they start packing a wound, they don't think they're going to use half the gauze. And sometimes, depending on what wound you're packing, you might need more than one roll.
An exit wound is pretty large. Now the question, well, why aren't you using the combat gauze? I could. I actually could use a combat gauze. What if I don't have it?
Yeah.
Unless you've got it and put it in your bag, you're not going to have it. You're probably going to have something more like this. So escalation of care. So I'm packing it down really hard, and they're going to be screaming at me. Once I get it to the top part of the wound, I'm going to wad it up like this. Then I'm going to take my Israeli bandage, my SWAT tourniquet or something, and over tie that and apply pressure to it and hold it down. And I'm going to keep checking that wound. So this is... It's a lot of blood. Okay? So basically I'm going to keep holding it down there 4, 5, 6 minutes. Your hands are going to get tired. You need to hold it down in there until they stop bleeding. That's pretty much it.
Good times.
And actually this is edible blood too, by the way.
I'm not having it.
Okay.
I'm not going to have it. Not today.
Yeah.
Maybe in the class.
So
So we do have a class coming up this weekend.
We do.
If anybody's interested, and this is the Tactical Triage and Care, or Tactical Triage and Treatment class, so it's the longer class.
The longer
it's about
class.
5 to 6 hours, something like that. For those of you that came out to the 2-hour class, which is not really 2 hours, it's a little bit more than that, but it's hard to say, hi, I'm Phil, and do that in an hour, right?
Yeah,
So you get a lot of information in that 2-hour class. This is going to be a good class to come out and take.
If you've taken, and just like what you said about coming back for a refresher, so you took the 2-hour, the 4-hour course, right? The 2-hour course is your basic shooter course. The 4-hour course is a little bit more intensive. We go more into the type of wounds that you'll be treating, in different type of wounds, and different uses for the trauma training. The 6-hour course, we actually throw in that hostile intent. So in the military, there's 3 phases of care: care under fire, care in the field, and then what we call CASEVAC, or aftercare, until they get picked up. That care under fire is a phase where, in this class, we're going to teach you that under different scenarios, a school shooting, a church shooting, you're out in a mall, and there's still an active shooter. Okay, you got your conceal and carry. We discussed that. You know, are you going to be the one taking it out, or are you the person with those medical skills that can drop all that stuff is going on and start saving lives with what people have on their persons? Just even put it on a tourniquet. This is where law enforcement needs to come out, because we're just talked to one of the local police officers, and they don't get this training as much as they want. They do get it, guys. But if they're in walking down a hall of a school doing an active shooter, and they drop down and that area is secure, they could drop down and start tourniqueting kids, you know, or improvising.
Care.
Yeah,
I always tell people in all my classes, for anybody that's taking a class from me, I talk about medical gear because it's important to me. I always tell people, listen, I'm much more likely to use this when I usually hold up my bag or a bag than I ever am to use my firearm. You know, whether it's a car accident I come up on or a motorcycle accident. I ride motorcycles too, and I've had friends get hurt, and I had one very good friend of mine get hurt very badly in a motorcycle accident. The only reason he's here is because there was somebody behind him in a car that had medical gear and knew how to use it, and saved his life.
That happens all the time, especially on motorcycle rides, especially when you do those long runs.
Yeah.
So that's, I always carry 2. I always carry 2 trauma kits on my motorcycle. So it's something you need, and you should have a kit for your car, kit for your home, and then again, like if we're going to go hunting, you at least need to have a tourniquet on you.
Yeah.
I just had a police officer call me up and ask me, he's taking his family to Arizona. They're going to go backwood backpacking, so way out there. And he said,
you're not a 911 phone call away. Right?
And he said, can you come over and teach my family how to do this? Absolutely, yeah. So we can throw some survival skills in there. That's what's cool about what we do at Tactical Care, is we can modify anything that you want, whether it's a company, we can come out to your company, we can go to your home. I can train you any place, pretty much. The range is great because it's really nice because you hear this bang, 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 bang throughout the whole class.
Yeah.
So it gets you ready and prepared. And that little background noise, I couldn't pay for a better
soundtrack.
Background noise. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So.
Well, cool, man. I really appreciate you coming out and helping me fill in, so I didn't have to try to do this by myself. I appreciate you coming out and filling in you filled in for John and Ron, and I'm just kind of background noise today. So
I
appreciate it.
I should have talked a little bit slower because I know you're Marine, but
it's just got jokes all the time, So, anybody, any other questions for us that are out there? No, nothing.
Maybe I'll just pick it on you, Phil.
Okay, that's okay. I don't mind. You can pick on me all you want. I can take it.
I wanted to know if you'd be here Monday night, and I told them we'd
Yep.
so.
I will. I should be here Monday night for the
that's if
guys
his
and
wife
guns.
doesn't kill him for buying
The shotgun
shotgun,
today.
yeah.
I do like that shotgun. She'll like it too.
That is nice.
She'll like it too. So yeah, it's a good thing to bring up though too. Guys and Guns next Monday.
Coming Monday, not
Yeah.
next one.
Yes. The next Monday that happens is Guys and Guns. This one Dustin has put together as a Eastern Bloc type of event, so we'll be getting to shoot some pretty cool guns and come on out, sign up. What?
The heat is on.
The heat is on. I don't know what that means. What does the heat on mean?
Starts Friday, the heat is on, starts Friday.
Oh yeah, our new promotion, the new month. I'm so out of touch with even what year it is right now. I literally came back from being gone for the last 2 weeks, and like my desk is covered in stuff, and I don't know what day it is or even where I am. Yeah, and it's all Sam's fault for
Not
the
also,
most of it.
Jason said it was great information, even if it was Army information. So
Yes.
he's got your back.
Yeah. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. All right, you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you have any questions and we're not live anymore, feel free, please put them in the comments. I will certainly try to respond to you usually within a day. I'll get back to you. If you got a medical question, ask it. If I see it, I'll tag Rob in it so that he can help answer your questions. Better yet, come out to the class. You can sign up for it on our website, therangestl.com. Go to training tab. The medical class is this Sunday. I have a CCW class on Saturday, so if you want to come hang out with me on Saturday, you can. You want to come hang out with Rob on Sunday, you can. Come hang out with both of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be a good time.
It would.
So thank you all very much for tuning in. We'll catch you next week, although it will be John and Ron again. Probably it won't be me. So it'll be an okay show, not quite as good as this one.
I agree. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks.